Will today's parade of shame never cease? I haven't seen such committed brawling since the days of that cursed tiger Lao.
Thank you, Honorable Leopard Master. My compliments to your daughter on her athletic prowess. She has quite the kung fu grip.
Yeah, right.
You know, there are many games on the PlayStation that deserve credit for the kind of games we have today. Crash Bandicoot, Gran Turismo, Crow, City of Angels, Crazy Ivan, Auntie Clarissa's World Hoover Massacre Tournament 3002, Life Sucks, Suck Harder. Anyway, there are accolade games out there that the older among us will remember fondly, and they'll tell the younger people about them, and then the younger people will call us names and tell us to shut up, we're playing Fortnite. And then we'll stop paying for their internet, and then they phone child services, and it all gets really messy really quick. What I'm trying to say is that it was a simpler time back in the 90s. So, cast your mind back to 1999 if you can, and the PlayStation was in its heyday. Its biggest rival was the N64, and no one gives a flying fuck about that stupid thing, except for babies. But I digress. Again, 1999, the year before the world was meant to end. We were all going to get Skyneted up the ringer. Planes were meant to fall out the sky, and your toaster was going to molest the house pet to death. Your fridge would take a big shit in the corner of your living room whilst you cower in fear. Electric toothbrush trying to remove an eye, and wondering, how does a fridge freezer take a shit? But all that happened instead was a bunch of spam had labels in it that read 0001, and someone's pacemaker didn't work for 2 minutes, and nothing happened. So we all lived on and counted down to 2012. Well, in our year of the Lord, 1999, DreamWorks was busy making games for the PlayStation. Under a deal with Activision, that's the same thing. They had released such amazing hits as Skull Monkeys in 1998. Yeah, I don't know either. The Lost World on the PS1, so their track record was not that good. It did get better for them in 1999, sort of around August-ish, when they released something called Medal of Honor. And then before that, there was this.
Find him and see that not a scrap of fur remains.
Don't be so hasty. He'd make one heck of a nice rug.
Stop!
Tai Fu, the Kung Fu Tiger. To be fair, they dined off Medal of Honor for a bit, and then they got bored, got sold to EA, made COD, then become DICE, and made not COD, and now they're bloody rich. So that pretty much covers them. So this tiger, right? He has to go through 20 levels beating up wildlife to beat up a dragon who called his adopted panda dad a prick. The game follows a linear path, telling the story as you go along, and then you learn new kung fu techniques off of a mantis, a crane, a monkey, your real dad, and a sexually charged leopard woman with big old anime titties. Because of course you do, and of course she has. It's the 90s after all. The game plays using a semi-fixed camera that follows you relatively well around the levels, and the game starts pretty simple, but as it moves through the levels it becomes progressively hard, until you reach the goddamn bastard, the ice world. Here the game suddenly takes a sideways turn and becomes harder than troll shit. And if you wondered why the game was giving you so many damn extra lives during the duration of the other levels, it becomes incredibly apparent here. As you fall off every surface, get bum rushed by boars, you wonder, where are the wolfmen? Missed opportunities, the ice world, you idiots. Why is a bloody pig with a stick doing living in a fucking tent? Why does this game let me go this way in a linear world, and it's the wrong way? Why can't I jump on this here, but not on the same platform there? What's the difference? Oh, I can go down there, but not from that direction. Right, brilliant. Fuck you! It is literally the last 3 or 4 levels where you will either win the game or get in the bath of your toaster in frustration. So, what's good about it? It has pretty satisfying combat. It has a weird 90s sense of humour which is gloriously outdated. The music is good, which I can't let you hear though because of copyright. It's a quick game, it takes about 6 hours to finish on normal and maybe a little more on hard. You can replay the levels to try and finish them faster as well. There's the odd hidden thing here and there, but nothing of great importance. What isn't good? Fucking ice level. Fucking shadow level after the fucking ice level. The camera can be a bit of a knob at times. There are a couple of puzzle levels which are really vague. There's this bit in the ice level where you think you're going the right way and you're not. Might have mentioned that. And some of the bosses are too easy, you just literally just button mash them to death.
No good.
Overall though, my experience of the game was a positive one. I can easily see why the game is relatively forgotten though, as the main character is pretty forgettable, and I guess DreamWorks' decision to turn Typhoon into a bit part character in Kung Fu Panda worked out much better for them than this game did. So, this is the first review where I'm actually going to give a score. The score is based off of several factors, using my old man eyes. So the first factor, graphics, which are getting a 3. These are a bit washed out in some parts of the game, were too hidden in shadow. The draw distance is a real problem at times, especially in the platform heavy sections, and the game uses these to its own advantage with ambushes laying away just off screen, which is it's a bit cheap. However, you can recognise your character at all times never deviates from being in the middle of the screen, and the camera is pretty responsive for the most time. It's never really that big a pain in the arse. Sound, 3. Music is good, it's Michael Giacchini. He went on to do Medal of Honor, Card, all that kind of stuff. The voice work is hilariously bad, and the levels are all over the place for the recording. And I know, I feel that me and the people who did the stuff for Typhoon probably got the same equipment. The sound effects are functional as well, they work fine, but they're nothing fancy, just the odd, meat slaps, and sometimes someone goes, wow. Replayability and playability. Replayability is getting a 1, playability is getting a 3. Replayability is pretty limited. It's just doing the later levels at a quicker time, and there's no reward for it, so there's no real reason to bother doing it. It's just there to prolong a relatively short game. It plays perfectly fine though, except for those last few levels where the game becomes unfair, confusing, unforgiving, and the fun factor is sucked right out of it. You actually feel a genuine relief finishing those last levels. And accessibility, which is getting a 3. Controls can be remapped, which is pretty good. It's easy to control as well, it's responsive, there's no confusing controls to get used to. And most of your special attacks are routed to the shoulder buttons, so it never really gets more taxing than pressing circle and the right trigger. So overall, the game gets a 13 out of 25. It's not the worst game in the world. Spent quite a lot of time with it. Completed it in a day. As you can see from the footage, I've been to every single level. I even passed through some of the more frustrating bits and pieces in there. Again, apart from those last few levels, I genuinely enjoyed the game. That final sudden pathetic ramp of difficulty is so jarring. And it's such a shame as well, because if it didn't have that and those levels were just challenging because they're just challenging, I could have probably accepted that more and the score would have been a little bit higher. But overall, if you can get to play it, I would advise giving it a go. Kids will enjoy it as well, as long as you don't let them play the last 4 levels. Just pretend that the game ends once you meet your dad. Job done. Yeah, brilliant. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of the new format. It does take a bit longer to actually make these videos now. I'm still going to do like the little playthroughs of the older games, but I mainly want to actually start trying to talk more about the game itself, actually give you a bit of insight, rather than just play the game, because there's so many of those videos and I do want us to stand out. So thanks for watching, take care, and we'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.